Okay, so we are going to do 4.2, number 10, which tells us that we have to identify the vertical, horizontal asymptotes, find the domain and range of the function, then graph. Okay. So when we're doing problems like this, all of the things that they're telling us to do here help us graph it. Okay. Now I know that you could just take this and plug it into Desmos. That's really not important to me. Remember how I ask questions? I ask questions like, tell me about this. How would this help you how would this help you graph? So I'm not really interested in you guys like graphing this on Desmos. I'm more interested in you finding these and understanding how they would help you graph, right? Okay, so this one says 3 over x plus 2. What does this plus 2 do? What is his job? Yeah, he moves up 2. Okay, so can you just think about this? So here's my little graph, right? And then here's my branches, right? Can you imagine me taking this whole thing and moving it up 2? Right? So this whole thing just moves up 2. So let's see. Like, can you imagine this guy moving up 2 and this guy moving up 2, right? So what is our normal vertical asymptote? For 1 over x, does anybody know what our vertical asymptote is for 1 over x? It's this guy right here, right? X can't be what? Yeah, x can't be 0. So x equals 0. Okay. Now, if I move it up 2, can you imagine me going up 2 like this, sliding it up 2? Does that affect my vertical asymptote? Does moving something that's vertical like this, moving it up 2, does it affect, like, does it change? It's now 2. No. So it doesn't affect the vertical asymptote. It does affect the horizontal asymptote. Yeah. Someone said now it's y equals to 2. Yes, but that's our horizontal asymptote, right? So can you imagine this line right here? When I slide it up 2, boom, boom. Do you see how it's still the same line? So my vertical asymptote was not affected by up 2. Yeah, I know. You're good. Okay. Horizontal asymptote right here, our normal guy is y equals to 0. Now, if I take this line and push them up to boom, boom, does that affect your horizontal asymptote? And you guys already said, yeah, Ms. Johnson, because now it's 2. So y equals 2. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? And you, some of you are like, that really does make sense, because up 2 means the y is going to be changed to 2. It's moving up 2. Does that make sense? Yeah, exactly. Okay, good. So our domain for our function, right? Oh, wait, sorry. I forgot this 3. Does anybody remember what this 3 does? This 3 is like, this 3's job is the same as this 3's job. That 3's job is the same as that 3's job. Yeah, it does a vertical stretch. Okay. So when you stretch vertically, does the vertical and the horizontal asymptotes don't change. Okay. They don't change. The domain doesn't change because of my stretch. It does change my plus 2. I mean, sorry. Neither the 3 nor the 2 affects my domain. It doesn't affect my domain. Okay. Neither that 3 nor that plus 2 affects my domain. So my domain before, we wrote it like this. We said negative infinity. Oops. Oh, I'm running out of space because I wrote so big. Sorry, hold on. Negative infinity, 0, 0, infinity, right? It doesn't affect the domain. But my range is affected because my range is my y. Now before, my range was negative infinity to 0 and 0 to infinity. But now I moved everything up 2. I moved everything up 2. So how does this change? So it's still going to be negative infinity. It's still going to be infinity, but it's not going to be 0 anymore because we moved everything up 2. Yeah. So instead of the asymptote being at 0, it's now at 2. So we can't touch 2. So that's why we put a 2 here. So the range is, if you want to say it in normal terms, it's all numbers except for 2. Does that make sense? So you can write it like this, or you can write it like this. I'm trying to push you guys to using set notation because that's the more mature way of writing things. All right, very, very good.